Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for joining this live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the time that I attended a book launch and signing. The author was there at the book launch to sign the book, a book launch for an SJW book. I knew some people were there, excuse me, I knew some people who were going and kind of got an invite. So I thought, this could be interesting, I'll go along. It wasn't far away from where I was, where I live, so it was not inconvenient to go along. Now, what it was this particular publisher really focuses on producing SJW feminist leftist propaganda. So, and they're not the editors aren't concerned about accuracy at all. They'll give it lip service. And if you're a straight white male who wants to do a book, then you need to be accurate. Or if you're producing a book that's, say, a manuscript that's, say, against feminism or against mass migration or anything against globalization, you need to have your facts absolutely nailed down tight. Your sources need to be impeccable. They really will put a fine tooth comb through. But if you're on the other side, where you're doing a book that's pro-globalization, pro-feminism, claims that racism is everywhere, pro-mass migration, all this sort of thing, or you're anti-white male, all that sort of stuff, then the standard suddenly drops. You don't have to be accurate. Your facts don't matter. Your sourcing and your referencing, well, who gives a shit? And so it's very different standard that's held. Then you probably noticed that in the social media fact checker type people, where the fact checkers will rigorously go chasing after conservative comment, but barely bother to have a look at that leftist pro-globalist comment. So two different standards, and that's evident here in the publishing game as well. So clearly the globalists only want certain information to be seen, and they'll do everything to prevent the information they don't want to be seen getting out there. So anyway, so the book launch is the usual suspects. There's the book, say, where women recall being violently raped, and it's about that. And there's no attempt in the manuscript or in the book to be accurate at all. And some of the facts, they say, women have always been raped by men 1,000 times a day per woman, and they the most outrageous, ridiculous, absurd fact. They have no source or reference, and if they do have any source or reference, it's from the the lesbian gender studies department at some fourth-tier university is the reference, and then you go and look at that, and there were some anecdotal interviews they did with another bunch of lesbians, and I was surprised actually how many prostitutes are lesbians, and why would they want to go in that? Is it some form of self-degradation or something? I don't know. I'm not sure I follow the logic with that. Anyway, the author was if you went to Central Casting and send me an author that would write a book like this, they would send you this woman. I mean, perfect, absolutely tailor-made. And the people who were attending were those sort of people. The people want to revel in victim pain. I'm a victim and I'm in pain. I deserve to be compensated for this terrible pain. And so there's always been imagining that they were sort of all victims of rape, multiple rapes, vicious rape, violent rape, and oh, my best friend was raped 10 times yesterday. They all go, and there's the intake of breath, and then they go, oh yes, my friend was raped 20 times yesterday, 50 times, 100 times, and on it goes. And it's very sad to see so many people trying to outcompete themselves as to how many times they or someone they knew was raped in any given time. And if there are as many rapes going on as these people say, then the whole world would come to a standstill, because nobody would be doing anything other than either raping or being raped. But so the idea that it's rare and a very rare thing, as it should be, it's an unpleasant act. So in order to get round to get around the idea that it's rare, because they want to say it's everywhere all the time, is that it is to aid to expand the definition of rape. So the definition of rape is unwanted sex that you decide a week after that you've had it, that you didn't like it therefore is rape, that sort of thing. Or they just say, well, it's actually is happening all the time. Everyone's getting raped all the time, every day. They just don't report it. Now, the idea that rape was once either the violence or the threat of violence in order to engage in intimate relations like that, then that definition's long gone. Even though there's no threat or no drugging or nothing at all, it's completely consensual, but it's decided later on that, oh no, I didn't like that, so now I'm going to. So the definition of rape has been watered down to a point where it's almost anything that the alleged victim says it is. Now, one of the things that sort of I've got a problem with is that before any crime's been proven, even circumstantially, let alone in a court of law, that somebody can be referred to as a victim. I think that's extremely prejudicial to a legal case. They're not a victim until it's been proven in an independent court of law. But that's also gone out the window now. To merely allege it or assert it is it. Now the publisher was on hand, and there were some people who were looking through the manuscript who were looking at some of the factual howlers, and I mean howlers, that were in the manuscript, in the book, and were sort of mentioning it to the publisher. How can you publish something like this when it's got so many factual errors? The claims of the women being raped all the time, the wicked patriarchy, the normal stuff that the usual suspects come up with, and the publisher sort of was you could tell, a little bit nervous by this. So she herself, a lesbian activist, by the way, the publisher or the publisher's representative got up and said, well, look, this is not a factual account. This is women's accounts of what happened to them, and it is emotionally true. And that was the phrase that she used. And with that, the discussion was ended. The fact that the facts claimed or asserted were completely untrue or completely fabricated or utterly absurd, that didn't matter, because it was now emotionally true. So if you're a man but you say you're a woman, then that's emotionally true. So if you say you were raped 1,000 times yesterday, we can say that's not physically possible, but it doesn't matter, because that assertion is emotionally true. And this is where we see how the whole ideology of gender transitioning and transgender and all these sorts of things can be pushed around on the basis they're emotionally true. So if black people say, well, actually, black people were invented the rocket to the moon, there was no white people anywhere, it was all black people, and they were all black lesbians, by the way, then if you believe that to be, then that's an emotional truth. It's not a factual truth or a real truth or an actual truth or based on any reality, but it's an emotional reality. And we see this sort of attitude permeating everything we have now. And the globalists are fully supporting, because it's so destructive to a society, to our society, or to any society, to get this emotional truth crap happening. And the globalists, I say, are in full support of it and are actively funding it. And we look at even the district attorneys in the United States that George Soros helps to fund. They've got this thing where the facts don't matter, criminality doesn't matter. All the witness statements, facts proven in a court of law don't matter, because it's the emotional truth of the situation. And this was evidence in this book launch. And I was stunned that the editors and the people producing the book, who are doing it at their own expense, their own risk, by the way, support this rubbish and support the inaccuracies on the basis that it's emotionally true. I mean, we're all fucked if this attitude keeps on going. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.